Let's see, we have next Zach Burks from Mintable. Excited to see Zach again. Very good.
Hey, Jessica, good to see you again.
Likewise, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I like your sport. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. I got the spork and I have the fur, you know, just embracing. Are you embracing?
I wish I could embrace it. I'm in Asia right now, so it's like really hot, and I want to be in Denver. I want to be in the snow.
Yes,
I miss Denver. I used to live in Denver, so it's something I miss.
It's also a rainbow. It's a rainbow spork. This is unbelievable. Anyway, all right. I'll let you get to Mintable. Excited to see what's going on, the newest developments with what you guys are doing. I don't know if you're going to be talking about Zilliqa a little bit. I'll be like this.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. Then we'll be talking about how we can make NFTs mainstream and get, you know, millions of people talking about NFTs and make it a household name. I think it's pretty possible. So yeah, I'm excited.
Perfect. Well, the floor is yours, Zach.
Cool. Thank you. Hey everyone. My name is Zach Burks. I'm with Mintable.app. You know, we're an NFT platform. But before I start going into the talk, I want to give a little bit of background about myself to kind of share, you know, how I've learned some of these things and how I've been in the space. I found Bitcoin 2013, became a smart contract developer in early 2016, converted all my Bitcoin to Ethereum about 2015. And then since 2016, I've been working, you know, full-time basically as a smart contract developer. I found NFTs when CryptoPunks came out, you know, and then later that year, CryptoKitties. And this was kind of the turning point for me with CryptoKitties. I was actually the first person to make money with CryptoKitties, funny enough. But that's what made me realize the power of NFTs. And since CryptoKitties came out, I've done pretty much nothing but NFTs. We made Mintable in 2018, and you know, now it's 2021. Wow, and we're still running it, so that's cool. So I've been in the space for a while, and one of the things that I've seen is NFTs are an e-commerce product, right? And a lot of people don't think about that because, you know, in the blockchain space, we think Web3, and you know, this is a new kind of internet and a new era. But some things still apply from the old era, right? So some principles from e-commerce still apply to even new technologies like NFTs. So in order for us to take NFTs to be mainstream, right? Because this is the goal. We want hundreds of millions of people using NFTs, right? We want it to be where every event you go to has an NFT related to it, where almost every collectible item you have is a, you know, NFT itself, where NFTs are used for insurance and documentation and, you know, possibly voting, and so it's a mainstream thing, right, where everyone is interacting with NFTs. And the reason we want this is because it's very easy for, say, your mother, and I'm going to talk about my mom a lot in this talk, because your mom is a good test. Can your mom do something easily, right? Because, you know, most of our moms are not technical, at least mine isn't. So can my mom use an NFT in the current state of NFTs? Probably not, right? But can my mom use DeFi? 100% not. There's no way, right? My mom will just never understand DeFi. So when you look at things like NFTs, it is the easiest path for someone to enter crypto. And so this is why this is the key to the success of crypto, is really relying on NFTs. If we could get 100 million people interact with NFTs, then we have now made crypto a household interaction, and people don't realize it, right? And so the way we do that is through e-commerce. And you may be wondering, you know, why e-commerce, and we'll go over it. But basically, buying an NFT is an e-commerce transaction. And if you look on the screen, I have two completely different things. One is a bar of gold, and one is a Picasso painting, right? And one is you know, it's on an auction house, and the other one is just on a website to buy gold. They all have the same thing in common, though, is the layout, the information presented, the way that you interact with the page in order to purchase your item, in order to sell the item, right? And the reason that I'm talking about this in particular is because when you ask yourself, what is the main reason or the main gateway for crypto, just like normal crypto, not NFTs? The answer would be like Coinbase, right? So if you ask, how does your mom interact with Bitcoin or Ethereum for their very first time? They go to Coinbase or Binance or Kraken, and they buy on an exchange, right? That's the same for NFTs. Is the gateway for interaction for NFTs is an exchange, a marketplace, right? And so just like on Amazon is a marketplace essentially, right? eBay is a marketplace, Etsy is a marketplace. And so we need to have marketplaces because that's the gateway to NFT adoption. And so when we look at marketplaces now, we have to look at how do they apply e-commerce principles to the NFT ecosystems, effectively, right? And one of the things that we have to look at is where we are at now and why we're not where we should be, right? Because NFTs came out about, about 4 years ago. I normally say 3, but it's been 4. So about 4 years ago, NFTs came out, and we only have roughly 150,000 NFT users, but yet we have a little bit more than 5 million Ethereum users now. These numbers are slightly out of date because everything grows so fast. But the market size it did 330 million last year, not 150 million. So again, these are slightly out of date. And let's even just double. We could just double, the 150K users for NFTs. Let's say it's 300,000. There's 300 million volume, and there's 10 million Ethereum users. If you take the 10 million to 300,000, that ratio is still very, very small. That's like a third of 1/10%, which is just abysmal. We should be having at least half of all Ethereum users using NFTs. And why don't we have that? Is because their gateway for interaction in NFTs is just not there yet. We don't have the Amazon for NFTs. We don't have the Coinbase for NFTs. And this is important. One of the main key aspects on these marketplaces is you have to stand out if you're a creator. Because most of the NFTs that are being transacted and that are unique, they're not coming from projects, they're coming from individual creators. And so when you have, let's say there's 600,000 NFTs that are in existence, and you create maybe 5 as an artist, it's very hard for you to stand out. You have 5 out of 600,000, right? So you need to be what you are. You're a creator, and you want to create something unique, and you want that content to be seen and appreciated. So standing out from the crowd is one aspect that needs to be applied into a marketplace situation, which helps the seller out, helps the creator out. And then the flexibility, right? They can't be limited either in their creativity. It can't just be, only images or only 50 megabytes, or, you can only put your title. You can only put a description, right? These limitations reduce the ability to, going back to the last slide, stand out, right? If I can only do 50 megabytes, I can't do like a 4K video. I can't put, a YouTube video in my description or something like that, right? So I can't stand out and sell my product, which is an e-commerce product. It's my NFT, which is, it's a bad experience for people overall. Sorry, it's like 7:30 in the morning for me. Gotta have my coffee. So we gotta improve the usability of these marketplaces and the ability for creators to stand out, so that your mom can go on these marketplaces and the gateways for NFTs and interact with them easily, just like she does on Amazon, right? Even my grandma uses Amazon, and that's a level above my mom. So if my grandma can't use OpenSea or Mintable, then there's a problem there, right? And so these are kind of some specific rundowns of the issues with NFT marketplaces. Is like they're a mix of like cryptocurrency and really bad e-commerce websites. There's a limited ability for creators. There's high fees. And I want to show, just so people understand in their mind's eye. So this is Amazon, obviously, right? And it's very familiar. We've all seen pages like this on Amazon, right? So just keep this in your mind and think about the design, the layout of this. And here is OpenSea, Rarible, right? So there's Rarible, and there's Amazon, right? So there's a big difference automatically that we can see here. And I don't have enough time to go into all the principles, the e-commerce principles that have been around for, like 20 years now, that are missing on Rarible's site. But let's go back to Amazon. Keep this in your mind's eye, and we're going to go to OpenSea now, right? Here's OpenSea. Again, very different, right? very different from Amazon. And we go back, Amazon, keep this in your mind's eye, and now let's look at Mintable, right? Oh, no, eBay, my bad. eBay. But eBay or Amazon, keep them in your mind's eye, and then here's Mintable, right? And so we try to provide some principles of e-commerce transactions and e-commerce marketplaces to the NFT space, which is what we're trying to do here. And so we try to take the design principle, the functionality and everything, and put that into the Web3 for the NFT ecosystem. One of the things is that in order to get to the next level, we need to be able to have some advantages. And so we could talk about something like layer 2s and side chains. And it's been the whole day you've heard layer 2s come up and side chains come up just because the gas prices are so high right now. But for a marketplace, specific layer 2s just don't make a lot of sense economically. And I'll explain why. And it's very simple from a user standpoint. You're going to pay more using a layer 2 than you would just using mainnet Ethereum, which sounds crazy because you're like, well, wait, layer 2s are supposed to save money, right? But, and I'm talking about this for a reason. I'll explain it once I get to the point. Essentially, by using a layer 2, you have to enter that side chain or enter the new blockchain using a bridge or something like that. And by doing that, you're paying a transaction, sometimes multiple transactions, to do something that you effectively could have just done in one transaction, right? So if you wanted to buy an NFT on Mintable, it's one transaction, right? And you just send ETH in a contract interaction. But if you wanted to use a layer 2 to buy the same item, you're going to first need to enter the layer 2 with whatever currency that they're using, submit your transaction on the layer 2, which is free, and then exit that layer 2. So you've just paid 2 transactions with high gas prices when you could have just paid 1 transaction. And so economically, layer 2s don't make sense. And so we shouldn't be focusing on a layer 2 for an experience of a user to reduce those gas fees. Instead, we should be doing something like innovation. So with Mintable, we've actually created gasless minting, right? And so this means is that you can mint an item without needing a transaction at all. And it's on mainnet Ethereum. There's no layer 2 that you're worried about. There's no liquidity issue or user issue that you have to worry about. You can just sign a message with your MetaMask wallet and your item is minted. You don't have to pay a single fee. Once it's minted, it's listed for sale, and you don't have to pay anything. So there's literally no barrier to entry now to be able to create artwork on our platform. And this has actually been really huge. All of our numbers have skyrocketed since we released gasless minting. We just surpassed like 10,000 NFTs created, and we came out in December of 2020, right? So it's been like 2 months. We have 10,000 items created. We've done over like $50,000 in sales already. And so these are all great numbers. The users we have like 7,500 users already, which is about 20 to 25% of all the NFT users currently from the latest estimates that we can gather. So this is an important standpoint because now my mom, she can go to Mintable, she can upload a photo of her kids, me, and type in their information like this is my kids and this is my kids' title and subtitle and description, and she doesn't need to know anything about crypto other than that she has an extension and she presses sign the message, right? Later we'll be doing even more things to remove it even further so that you'll have assets on the blockchain without needing to even have a crypto wallet. And see, these are the innovations that we need to push the space forward. Adopting something like Matic or something like XDAI or even rollups is just not necessarily feasible for a new user, and it's not something that's going to push adoption to a mainstream level, right? It's just not how it works, right? PayPal didn't get there by using a good technology and then making users interact with that. They did it by hiding everything in the back, right? And this is what we have to do as marketplaces. We have to look like an e-commerce traditional experience. We have to hide as much of things as we can in the background, and we have to provide a familiar experience to users, right? And this is just a little bit. We have a DAO, but I'm not going to talk about that in this this discussion. But we let creators stand out. And this is one of the things that we've been focusing on. And this is why we actually have a higher sell rate on Mintable than on Rarible or OpenSea for our sellers, because there's so much more flexibility of what you can do with your creations, from the private files being like 2-3 gigabyte private files. We've had 4K resolution items. We've had like a 360-degree video uploaded. We've had a full album, music album uploaded, PDFs. So there's a ton of different things you can upload, completely a 3D interactive viewer for your 3D files, which means that your NFT is no longer just an image. And so creators can stand out. They can design their whole page. If you look at this, you can see this item description, the tags that they have, the subtitles and titles that they have. All of these things is user defined and lets that user stand out in the search page and the browsing page. And this is really important. It's just like on eBay or Etsy or Amazon. And so these aspects are things that we have to achieve on all marketplaces, on all gateways, in order to get to a level where you can hear about NFTs in your dining room table from your parents, and they say, "Hey, look at this! I just bought this, this digital item, last night." And they may not know too much about the blockchain, but they know what they bought is an e-commerce transaction, it's a digital item, and this is something that is, eventually our goal. Once we get to this level, the adoption of just normal cryptocurrencies and like the price of Ether and the price of Bitcoin is going to skyrocket. We're talking, like $20,000 in Ether kind of thing if you have hundreds of millions of people using NFTs. Now, if there's 100 million people using NFTs, there is one problem, and that's gas prices. But there are ways to mitigate some traditional, you don't need to move to a layer 2 to mitigate the gas costs. And this is something for another talk. That's kind of like cutting edge technology. But that's what we need in the space, because we need innovation in the space. We don't necessarily need to move to a layer 2 when we can redo the 721 standard and redesign it to be more economical, right? Which is what we've done at Mintable, and make gasless minting and reduce the transactions needed on our platform instead of using like wrapped Ether, right? Like OpenSea uses wrapped Ether, and you're going to have to submit like 2 transactions just to even get started on OpenSea, which is bad. That's just bad. You're making our users pay $75 just to get interacting on your platform. So we have all these goals, and we got to get there, and we got to get to that level of adoption, and we'll do that eventually, right? NFTs are going to be big and huge, and it just requires us to do certain things in the right manner, right? And not take the easy way out, but instead kind of dive in and innovate in the best way possible. So that's pretty much it. I can't see the chat. I would like to know if there's any questions. I'm sure there are, but maybe Jessica can come back and let me know if there's any questions. But anyways, check out Mintable, right? So Mintable is a really cool marketplace, and it's free to make your NFTs on the mainnet Ethereum. So you don't have to worry about gas prices. Go check it out. We got gasless minting, which is really awesome, and we have all these other features like direct messaging and review systems, private files. It's really awesome, and I think that a lot of people they see the value of it. What's up, Jessica?
Excellent presentation. Thank you so much. That was really insightful.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and I like your take on, it's like really direct, and there's a really clear route on how to get there. I love it. It was really great. Have you been talking about this approach of like the market sort of fit of things like that before, or this is kind of like a new way that you're putting things together? Just curious.
Yeah, I've talked about this for a few years now.
Yeah.
It's the same question. If you ask yourself, how does my mom get into crypto? The answer is from an exchange, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask, how does your mom get into NFTs? The answer is from an exchange, a marketplace, right? Mm-hmm. So this is the gateway, and that's the first interaction, and so that has to be perfect, right? Mm-hmm. If you went to Coinbase and they charged you $150 to get started, no one's going to have a Coinbase account, right? But you go to OpenSea and you got to pay all these transactions and gas fees, which is just bad, right? And so we need to fix things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me see if we have some questions. Mostly what I see is just comments like, well, but it doesn't have to look exactly like Amazon, things like that.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. We can propose some new aesthetics too, and something that I also would like to see when it comes to how the information is displayed is perhaps crypto markets can offer the transparency part of things, like terms of service, like a really easy to understand, the transparency of the whole marketplace. I think that could be an interesting thing to sort of highlight as opposed to, the already established Web2 marketplaces that tend to be, the little the little writing that you're never going to see is what is going to take you.
Right.
So
yeah, I think transparency is important and making sure that people understand, the different costs associated and things like that, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Zach. We are out of time, but yeah, we hope to hear more from you in the future. I'm sure that we will. Thank you so much. We're going to move on to our next activity.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.